What you're not seeing, though, is the row of cameras right along here. What you're not seeing are reporters on either side of me. It's getting pretty lively here at this point. For folks who are just waking up with us this morning, our reporter Ryan Burke is live on the scene right now in Milwaukee's south side near 14th and Cleveland. Ryan, we are expecting more information, a press conference here. We are going to take you live, though, now to Brookfield. This is Krause Funeral Home. The procession for Officer Jerving to the church is just about to get underway. There is a protest going on in front of the Planned Parenthood clinic for people who do not support abortion. As far as I can tell, there is one man on the other side who does support abortion services. Both sides have been yelling at each other all morning long. Jason, we're standing in front of the Kenosha County Courthouse. You can probably see it's been covered in graffiti, one of many buildings in the city damaged during last night's civil unrest. Polls close, by the way, at 8 p.m. tonight. Anytime before that, you can be in line, you can vote. You need a photo ID. Obviously, one of the big stories tonight, though, the front runner for the GOP party, the former president, Donald Trump, is not going to be here. This is significant because Ron Kind, of course, is a Democrat, so this seat could flip for the first time in more than 25 years. We'll take you to Madison now this morning. The police chief there said violent crime across the city is trending in the right direction. One of the best ways to stay warm during these extreme temperatures, too, make sure your house is properly insulated. It can save you a lot of money. It led to a renewed interest in paper maps. Yes. Paper maps that you have to actually hold, not a cell phone GPS. The struggle to find affordable childcare. Lots of parents know about this. If you can believe it, Southwest Airlines customers have now been impacted by more flight delays, and I'm sure there are a lot of unhappy people out there. Good morning.
That's what I want to hear. Good morning to you.
Yes,
Yeah.
Love it. The sun is shining. It came out just in time for my interview right now, and I have to say it's a little too bright out here for me today. The Super Bowl, of course, is the main reason that millions of us turned on our TVs last night, right? But we have to talk about the other bowl that happened, the Puppy Bowl.
I love it. Happy birthday to me.
Birthdays all around. It's a good day.
This is my piece right here.
For Robert Brox, July 7th was anything but peaceful. That day, he heard 13 gunshots feet away from his home. Moments later, Rob rushed to the victim's side.
I literally thought someone was shooting outside of my bedroom window and into my neighbor's house.
He's breathing. Yes, he's still breathing.
That's Rob's wife, Jolie, calling 911.
And it didn't really hit me until Rob yelled out, "Somebody's in the street." And my first reaction was, I didn't want the children to try to come out.
Steps from their house. The gunshots woke them and their 4 children. Rob says survival mode kicked in.
You can't hesitate when your family's life is in danger.
Rob and Jolie both grew up in this area. They've lived on this street for 9 years. They say the violence has gotten worse.
We've seen fires, we've seen shootings, we've seen break-ins into our house.
13 years ago, Rob and Jolie decided to take action to help their community heal. They opened a wellness business.
A healthier way of living, a healthier way of creating a village.
Most of all, as a Black-owned business, they want to be part of the solution to end gun violence in the place they call home.
If we can all work together as a community and just say, hey, we're all equally fed up with the senseless violence.
Bringing their community together.
We have to look out for each other.
They're asking where he got shot at.
With the goal of one day restoring peace. In Milwaukee, Megan Carpenter, Spectrum News. Not often, but sometimes, Clint Myrick sits in the basement of his Milwaukee home and plays the piano. He remembers a time when he thought music would be his life.
Like, I could play 11 different instruments, that I've learned throughout college in like 4 years, but now I'm not in that field no more.
Clint has a bachelor's degree in music education from UW Milwaukee and almost a master's degree, but he couldn't afford to finish. Clint graduated over a decade ago.
December 2010.
His story is like so many others, a degree he'll never use and a mountain of student loan debt he likely can never repay.
You owe $150,000 and every month your interest rate is $750. That's not even principal.
On top of his day job for U.S. Bank, Clint drives about 20 hours per week for Lyft and Uber
I actually just got a ride.
to chip away at some of his debt. Like others, he's relying on the Biden administration's student loan repayment freeze right now. It ends on May 1st, a deadline that's quickly closing in.
Hopefully getting some relief, from the federal government that would, help alleviate some of it, but that's all I got for a plan.
From corporate businessman to Uber driver to full-time dad,
What you want to get another food.
Clint is supporting much more than himself.
You want to make some Popeyes?
Looking back on his experience, the first-generation college student wants more for his children.
My family, we come from poverty, so there was nobody that can co-sign on any of my loans or kind of guide me in how does school work.
As he waits for federal help to come, Clint moves forward, hoping change comes soon
Okay, so we got the B.
and hoping for a better future for the next generation. In Milwaukee, Megan Carpenter, Spectrum News. Hundreds of thousands of people across the country attended for-profit colleges that turned out to be fraudulent. There were a handful that shut down here in our state, including one called Everest College that had a campus in Milwaukee. The company that created it, Corinthian Colleges LLC, has dealt with lawsuits in multiple states, including one here in Wisconsin. I spoke to a single mom who went to Everest. 10 years later, she still says it was one of her worst mistakes. Letisa Love Minor has a lot on her plate. She's a full-time student and a full-time mother.
So this is Latiana, Mariana, their dad, Brian Jr., and me.
At 31 years old, she's pursuing a business administration degree at MATC.
Things happen for a reason, and we never know the reasons.
She had a very different life 13 years ago. She thinks of her younger self often, an 18-year-old with a child.
I didn't have the motivation, the push, or the knowledge to know what I really wanted to do, where I was going.
Then, in 2011, she saw an ad on television for Everest College. She was hooked.
The commercials, honestly. The commercials, the color. It was like, that's it. It just seemed like everything was going to be so perfect, or it just seemed so simple.
But it didn't take long before that perfect and simple facade started to feel like one giant lie.
But you simply got tied into debt, and honestly.
Letisa's story is one retired professor Michael Rosen has heard countless times.
The experience is that they're told it's free. And then after a semester or a semester and a half, they're told, well, you don't have sufficient funds, you have to take out a student loan.
Rosen taught economics at MATC, where more than half of the students are minorities. He says it's no accident. Many of them went to Everest.
They target particularly women, single women who are Black and Latino, and veterans.
Rosen adds another thing. For-profit colleges often charge a lot more for degrees than traditional nonprofit colleges do.
An associate degree in criminal justice is $30,000. An associate degree in paralegal studies is $50,000.
Okay.
Letisa is now forever part of this exclusive club. A club none of its members ever wanted to be in.
This is the day I graduated from Everest. I hurry up and took the dress off. I had to get comfortable because I was pregnant.
It's been a decade since she set foot on her old college campus.
But I was avoiding this area for a very, 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 very long time.
In 2013, Everest shut down, less than 2 years after the campus opened in Milwaukee.
So this is the building.
That is the building.
Letisa left this campus with more than $20,000 in student debt and hundreds of job applications that led to no job.
They played us. They played us. You put all that time somewhere you never get back.
Then a silver lining came this past June. The federal government forgave student loans for people who fell victim to Corinthian colleges, which oversaw Everest.
I'm just thankful that it was forgiven, but my time isn't that I gave. I can never forgive them for that.
It's still hard for her to move on completely, but she knows she's among the luckier ones. She could afford to go back to college because she didn't cap out on her financial aid at Everest.
I'm still pushing, still thriving, still motivated, still self-driven to keep going.
Knowing for every one defrauded student who could start over,
I gotta log in.
there are thousands of others who couldn't. In Milwaukee, Carpenter, Spectrum News.